Is being recorded.
Okay, here we go. So if you look at the current package, within the current package, you have Tosca metadata. Within that Tosca metadata, you have Tosca.meta, right? This Tosca meta will contain all the entry information. So not only does it contain template tags, but it will contain template name and template version. Okay, so let me get rid of this. So it will contain all of this information. And all of this is going to be our main, all of this information will now be part of our main metadata screen in the UI. So if I go back to the UI, see, here's our UI. This is, I believe, configuration. Let me see, I think this screen. Okay. So here, this main screen is now going to be tied to our this file, Tosca.meta file. Okay, that file will have name, version, tags, and then the other thing we need to include is the entry definition and created by. This Caesar version Tosca meta file, this should be always like pre-created. We can display it, I guess, as well. I don't see any problems with that. So we can display all of this information that's in this file here. Okay, that's point number one. Is this part clear? This screen is tied to this specific file in the Tosca metadata folder itself. Any questions on this?
No, it's good now.
Okay. So the other thing we were saying is that when we enrich the blueprint, right? The blueprint will also have a Tosca meta representation as part of the definitions. So how do you know which file in definition? That is part of the entry definitions. So there's another file called definitions vlb.cds.json. This file itself here will also represent metadata section. It will have template name, will have version and tags. But from our GUI perspective, we don't want this to be editable. All of this will be based on the backend will enrich and make part of based on what's inside Tosca metadata, that metadata file. Okay. So what we're saying is essentially that when you click on topology, when you go into topology view, remember how we talked about we want to make sure that we have the that the username, template name, author represented in all our screens. So essentially what we're saying here is that, where is it? Hold on one second. Designer, full view, designer. I think this is okay. Okay. So we also want to represent the metadata section in this view here, okay? But that metadata section will be represented of this file, which is in the definitions folder. Does that is that clear?
I got confused, but I don't see the difference between the metadata in the file with the topology or metadata.tosca.
So this metadata will have the same set of information, okay?
Yes.
But it can also include other things. It can include things that we can use and act upon. So this in this folder, in this file, this is all it's doing is defining what is the initial metadata that will be supported, right? So it provides, you can say, the creation of the entry point and also the name of the CBA package. Then your other then your entry point definition will include the same set of information, but plus it can include other set of information that may be required to orchestrate this package itself.
So why don't we merge the data and we just keep all common inputs and just add the new items like user group and other unfamiliar to the first file.
Even the user group is not even required. This thing, it's going to probably go away. So the main thing that we need to make sure is that when we display our screen, our current screens, right, the metadata screens, that needs to represent the Tosca folder itself. If I go back to here, when you create your package, the first thing we ask for metadata. This metadata is actually going to be tied to this Tosca.meta file itself. So what we want to make sure is that we enable the population of all these attributes.
Okay, and they are already available on the forum right now. The only difference is we have to include the entry definition file. I
The other one,
yeah.
this one, right, doesn't have entry definition. It will have only
Yes.
the template name version. So it's a different file. So what we want to say is that when you get into topology, you'll also have a metadata section that needs to be displayed here, but that metadata section is going to be derived from a different file. That's part of the entry definition file. Okay, and the user can add also custom. He can add also custom entries as well. So it's basically, it provides similar information or same information, plus it can provide additional information. So we want to make sure that we can provide. So what I'm trying to say is that, first of all, we don't want, these things we sure don't want to change, okay?
Mm-hmm.
These changes from template name, version, and tags can only be done in this section, in the metadata section. Okay, in this section, the UI will make these things as read-only, and will only allow the user to add additional custom types or remove custom types.
Can we just copy and paste all the data from the two files just next to each other to compare the similarity of inputs?
Of course.
Okay.
So you see all of this?
Yeah.
Version tags is the same. Even the created by is the same thing as template author, right?
Yeah.
This user group, you can remove it. I don't care about this.
Mm-hmm.
Author email, we can add author email here as well to keep it consistent. That's okay as well. So we can say created by, but created by includes both the username and also the email address, I guess.
So the created by just automatically will be read from the user who just created the package.
That's
Just
correct.
an entry.
It's just an entry. That's correct.
Just not entry. We don't enter the created author or his email.
Right, but you will display it in that screen, right?
So just read only text.
So we will display created by as an entry in the screen itself once the package is created.
So the Here I see it the same as the template author and the and his email, and you just exclude the user group.
Right. Well, you don't need to worry about user group. Think of
Okay.
user group as a custom entry. If somebody wants to enter user group, they can enter it as a custom entry.
Okay.
Okay, but
So
what we want to make sure is that this section here, the topology section, includes a metadata form, right? And they can add custom entries only. So you
from the
allow them
designer,
from the designer, yes.
why don't we keep it only on the configuration?
But configuration, see, because it's two different files, how do we manage two different updates? You know what I'm trying to say?
Okay. That's why I'm asking why we have two different files that have the same information.
Right. So what we're saying, we need that information because in the entry definition, there will be additional metadata that might be needed. What can we do? So, in fact, what we can even say is that if let's say we have one metadata screen, and if we
Okay.
always carry over everything to the other file, then we don't care about this file, right?
Yeah.
Let's go with that then. Let's go with that assumption.
Okay. So the metadata section will include the entry definition file, the name, the version, the tags, and as we and of course if any other custom keys, and the other data about the author are already read by the application.
Right.
Okay.
Let's go with that approach.
Okay.
And then I'll talk to Brenda about making sure that as part of his enrichment, he carries everything over here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part he has to handle in the back end. But from the UI perspective, we only care about one file itself.
Okay.
Okay. So I think that's good. Anything else you wanted to cover?
No, so far I don't have any other questions. Right now I'm reviewing all my tasks and the status. I think you have known that I'm leaving the project very soon. So I'm just preparing all the tasks that I'm working on, and I hope that I finish the UI and or I mean the design before I left and hand over my tasks to my other colleague.
So Sarah, are you
So
leaving?
yeah,
You going to a different project?
yeah.
Very cool. I'm very, very happy that we got an opportunity to work because
It's
your
my pleasure
vision,
to. Yeah.
the vision of the UI has been amazing. So thank you very much for your contribution and support and working with us and your patience as well. It's been one wonderful experience.
Actually was my pleasure to work in such an amazing project that and you with the community it's very great to work on within such a project, such a big project, and I don't know. I think we can work again, or maybe following the project from the other side.
I hear you. I hear. I hope we will work sooner than later together again.
So, so
Very good.
thank you, Yuri.
I did also set up a follow up on Sunday if you want to cover anything.
Okay.
just as if we need it. If we don't need it, I will cancel it.
Okay.
From the UI perspective, I'll check with Bill if he wants to join and do anything else as well. Just put a placeholder on Sunday.
Okay. I think by today I will send you and Saudi to Abdul my status file. And if we need to discuss any point, I think we can discuss it on Sunday.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
Very good, Sarah. Thank
Okay.
you again. Appreciate all your support. And have enjoyed the weekend, and we'll talk on Sunday.
Soon. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.